All right, it's episode 187, really, of Security Weekly News. Welcome to the week of 13 February 2022. We've got the Ukraine, Microsoft Defender, Mimikatz, Chrome, Blackbyte, City Skylines. That's different. Adobe and Microsoft Teams. Microsoft got in here twice this week, along with the amazing Aaron Leyland on this edition of the Security Weekly News.
This is Security Weekly, for security professionals, by security professionals.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
It's the show that keeps you up to date on the latest security news twice a week. Your trusted source for accurate security information and expert analysis. It's time for Security Weekly News. Monitoring and maintaining compliance is a never-ending struggle with a high price of failure. Firemon helps customers meet complex and varying compliance requirements. Firemon has fully customizable reporting, analytics, assessments, and dashboards to meet the compliance needs of any organization. With Firemon, compliance reports take a tenth of the time, and real-time continuous compliance eliminates the anxiety and headaches of audit preparation. Improve security outcomes by improving security operations with Firemon. Visit securityweekly.com/Firemon to learn more. Every 11 seconds, there's a new ransomware attack. Oil pipelines, universities, corporations, all paying millions of dollars. Barracuda says, don't pay the ransom. Before a ransomware attack occurs, train your teams to recognize an attack and use anti-phishing technology. Protect your applications, and they can't get onto your network. Simple backup and restore solutions quickly recover your data without paying the ransom. Build your ransomware protection plan now by visiting securityweekly.com/Barracuda. That's securityweekly.com/Barracuda.
All right, it's the Security Weekly News. I'm Doug White. Much like Russia, I have been to the border of the Ukraine. I did not manage to surround the country, and I didn't cross the border because they convinced me my rental car might be stolen and I didn't have the right permit. But it's starting to sound a little like Hungary in 1956 over there. And but basically what the Ukraine has now said is they have been the target of a, quote, wave of hybrid warfare. And the quote goes on to say, the Ukraine is facing attempts to systemically sow panic, spread fake information, and distort the real state of affairs. They went on to say that they had counteracted multiple attempts and that the attempts were linked to hostile intelligence agencies and bot farms, which were targeting social networks and mass media inside the Ukraine. According to the report that I linked, the Ukrainian government security agency dismantled 2 bot farms. I think this was their report. They dismantled 2 bot farms which were linked to Russian special services that were controlling over 18,000 separate social media accounts in the Ukraine. Now, apparently these botnets and these fake social media accounts were being used to spread all sorts of news that would generate panic. Apparently, the bots were sending bomb threats to certain activities inside the country and so forth. And at least some of the attacks are now being associated with Gamma Redon. I don't know how to say it. Gamma Redon hacking group, which was previously linked to the Russian Federal Security Services. I don't know what Gamma Redon means in Russian. It may mean something like, Putin is cool or something. I don't know what it means, but I don't speak Russian. But anyway, Microsoft then said that Gamma Redon is behind a wave of spear phishing emails that have been targeting the Ukraine and other organizations related to the Ukraine. So Microsoft, I guess, is tracking those attacks internally through, I presume, through Office 365. Microsoft said that these attacks in particular originated in the Crimea with the Crimean Federal Security Service, which sided with, wait for it, the Russian occupation of the Ukraine in 2014. So Microsoft did go on to state that the attacks in the Ukraine in January, which were attacks on Ukrainian government agencies and corporations there, did not come from Gamma Redon. So I guess it's welcome to World War 3.1. World War 3.0 was new and different, but it didn't really work very well. And yes, that's a Windows joke hidden inside of an end of the world joke. So take it for what it's worth. All right. Google released an emergency update to Chrome due to high severity 0 days or a high-severity 0-day that was being actively exploited. And that was CVE 2022-0609. So I always mean to go look and see what 01 is, but 0609, that was being actively exploited in the wild, according to Google's security advisory. The update will begin rolling out in the next several weeks. So it's a little bit frustrating to me because it's like, well, you found it, you've patched it, but you didn't push the update. But so they have not rolled it out yet. But if you want to get it, you can go to the About Google Chrome menu, and it'll update Chrome for you with this new update. This particular CVE was described as a use after free in animation, and was discovered by Clement Lasagna, which is a cool name, from Google Threat Analysis Group. I think it means the swan, so like Clement the Swan. That's a cool name, Clement. I like it. I never get anywhere with my last name. I mean, it's just like I've told my daughter, I was like, you got saddled with this. And I remember when my dad started that electric utility company called White. No, I'm not going to say that on the air, but you could guess. But my grandfather's name was actually Pearly White. I'm not kidding. And no, it's not the answer to all my security questions. But anyway, Chrome patched 16 0-days in 2021, but this is the first one this year. So I guess that's an improvement. I always love this kind of headline as well. Microsoft Defender will soon block Windows password theft. That future tense. Like, maybe like one day this won't be a problem anymore. I mean, it says so much though. It's like, why didn't you just go ahead and block it if you can block it? But anyway, Microsoft says they will soon enable a security rule in Defender called Attack Surface Reduction, and that will be turned on by default. I guess it's already there, but it's not enabled at this point, or it may not be there. I don't know. But this rule basically blocks attempts to steal Windows credentials from the LSASS or LSASS, I don't know how you pronounce it, process. And if you aren't familiar with that, you probably haven't been around very long. But that's that local security authority server service, which is really hard to say. Local security authority server service, which is running in Windows and all Windows, and it's been widely used to get credentials. I mean, like root, or admin on Windows boxes. But this was one of the main approaches that was used by Mimikatz. So, I mean, Mimikatz has been around forever, and Mimikatz was at least theoretically written just to point these kind of problems out. So Defender does block Mimikatz. So if you download Mimikatz and put it on a machine, Defender will pick it up and stop it. But it doesn't block Mimi Dog or Mimi Iguana or any of the other variants you can make of Mimikatz by recompiling it. And so, you could block one Mimikatz, but it's like hurting Mimikatz. You're not going to block them all. And attackers can still actually dump the memory section, even with current stuff with Defender, and then they can take that off-site. And so they use an exfiltration tool, take that off-site, and they can still use Mimikatz on a box somewhere else. So Microsoft's been fighting this problem for a while, or I don't know if they've really been fighting, but they've been saying in the future we'll stop this. And they did introduce Credential Guard, which runs LSASS in a virtual container, which means that other processes can't actually access it. But when they did that, it caused a bunch of stuff to crash, and so a lot of people turned it back off. So they put Credential Guard out, people put it in, stuff crashed, they took it back off. The attack surface reduction rule will prevent other processes from opening LSASS and dumping the memory, even if the admin privileges are held by that particular thing that's trying to access it. Now, that immediately starts to sound like more problems. And the new rule apparently will only be supported, according to Microsoft, on Windows Enterprise licenses that are running Defender. But Bleeping Computer said that the rule would work on Windows 10, and it did work when they tested it, and Windows 11 Pro. But if there was any other antivirus on the machine, the rule automatically got disabled. It's like, be sure and use Defender. And apparently there's ways around this already, and there was a video in the article that showed someone doing just that, getting around it. Benjamin Delpy, who was the original author of Mimikatz, said that this was a step in the right direction to fix the problem that's been there for so long, and that it will help, and went on to say that only, quote, only buggy, legacy, crappy products access LSASS this way. So, but that doesn't mean you don't have any. So it's definitely something to look into, and this has been a huge threat for a long time. I mean, just think about how long you've known about Mimikatz. So, yeah, that long. In the United States, the Super Bowl game on Sunday was held, and just hours before the big game, an NFL team, the San Francisco 49ers, got hit with Blackbyte ransomware, which took them offline. And I do think a lot of people got a little panicky. I don't know this. It's not in the article. But I was thinking, this is a big day for all these sports teams and sports fans. And I was thinking, okay, they take out a professional football team. They were not playing in the Super Bowl, as far as I know. I'm not 100% clear on the rules, but you know, I've made more than a few sports faux pas, let me tell you. But anyway, the 49ers confirmed the report on Monday, and they said they brought in a third party to assist and advise law enforcement, but said the intrusion was only in the corporate IT system and did not affect their ticketing systems or systems at their stadium. I don't know. Maybe the Super Bowl is being played at this time. I don't know. I don't know anything about sports, so I'm going to stay off that. People make fun of me. Blackbyte, the company that's supposedly behind this, posted some files that they had reputedly exfiltrated from the 49ers that were called 2020 invoices, but they had not made any other ransom demands currently. And this particular attack came 2 days after the FBI and the Secret Service announced that Blackbyte had breached 3 U.S. infrastructure networks in the last 3 months. So they made that announcement on Friday last week, and then right on the heels of that on Sunday, this attack on the San Francisco 49ers occurred. According to TrustWave, the website for Blackbyte on the dark web has an auction site set up, but it doesn't actually seem to have any data or be conducting any auctions of people's data. And they also went on to say that the ransomware itself did not appear to be able to exfiltrate data, so the site is probably just a way to scare people into paying. This particular group, Blackbyte, first surfaced back in July of 2021, and they have compromised multiple U.S. and international businesses, as well as these 3 critical infrastructure components in the United States. According to the report, the group does avoid systems with Russian and similar languages installed. I don't know if you remember this from a couple of years ago. Everybody was putting Russian. I actually already had a Russian alphabet set in Cyrillic on my machine because I had just been to Moscow, and but there were several of these that went on. So it detects Russian language or Russian keyboards and does an attack. It has a worm, and well, there's a whole list of stuff that it does if you want to read the article if you're interested in that. If you played City Skylines or any other game that allows modding, well, I have played these games, and as I have always worried, yep, sometimes mods are malware. Apparently 35,000 users of City Skylines, which if you've never seen it before, it is kind of a replacement. I'm going to be nice and call it a replacement for SimCity, because SimCity was one of the most beloved games of all times. That was around in the 80s, and they had many versions of it. And basically, they decided to sell the company that made SimCity, and they sold it to a large gaming outfit who then outsourced the game to a third company, and they basically destroyed it. They turned it into the most awful, horrible game I've ever seen. And it basically died a horrible, painful death. But City Skylines, as far as I know, is not affiliated with SimCity, but it's very, very similar in both gameplay and one massive feature. It allows third-party modding. And this is very popular. So there are millions of people who play these games, and they contribute unbelievable amounts of content. I remember like SimCity 2000, there were just millions of mods available that people had built. And some of these mods are unbelievable how much time they must have invested in this, and they're free. And, you know, I mean, it's like an overwhelming number of mods. And then there's mods built on mods, and there's whole new packs and all these things. But anyway, people that play this game can download and add this content from Valve and Steam. They can download it from the site itself. They have tools, buildings, graphics, traffic management, all this stuff that people need to actually play this game. And much like SimCity. But alongside of this, it is very, very possible, and I've always looked at this. I've built a few mods here and there because it's interesting programming stuff. But I always thought you could embed things in this. People download them, and people probably don't deconstruct them very carefully. They see a cool mod, and they say, I'm going to get this mod. So this particular modder is named Chaos and also goes by the name Holy Water on the modding site. And Chaos redesigned this major core mod of City Skylines. It's called Harmony. And that mod is a basis for all sorts of other dependent mods and that people want to use. And so if you want to download like a specific building or a traffic light or something like that to put in your simulation, you might need that Harmony mod. Well, this person supposedly built a better version of that. And so everything that was published by Chaos and Holy Water has been removed, and players have been advised to remove any mods that you had that were associated with those particular names. Now, this is not the actual Harmony mod, so if you do play that, but it's a forked version of Harmony. But anyway, it may be worth a note to your people about running these types of games and how they can go on, because this particular mod had a downloader updater built into it that could install malware on your machine, and apparently was doing just that. So, you probably won't be able to keep Chaos from starting right back up again as Dr. Doom or whatever, but, be advised. Adobe issued an emergency fix on Sunday and advised e-commerce sites to update to avoid Mage Cart skimming attacks that were based on a zero-day remote code execution in Magneto 2, which is also in Adobe Commerce platforms. The bug basically allows pre-authentication RCE due to input validation errors. So once again, they don't check, and you're able to push something in there. Basically, the attacker, according to this report, the attacker does need to have admin privileges, though, on that system, but then they can do remote code execution against the e-commerce site. And Mage Cart is very famous for targeting Magneto, and they typically try to plant credit card skimmers on checkout pages of e-commerce site. Adobe said the attacks were currently very limited, but that due to the number of unpatched sites, more attacks will likely be seen. SandSec reported more than 500 sites being targeted just last week, and Source Defense found that there were between 50 and 100,000 sites that were running Magneto 1, which has been end of life for a while. So, patch this thing up, please. Really, patch. Really. Now, unless you've seen him dressed in a purple thong and a tutu at 4 a.m. in Frankie's Tiki Bar, well, you haven't really seen him. But I hear if you say his name 3 times, he may just appear. So, Aaron Leyland, Aaron Leyland, Aaron Leyland. And there you have it.
Well, I was going to call myself Aaron Leyland, the attack surface reduction engineer, but I'm not sure that I'm good enough to hold that title yet. But today being the day that I wrote a whole script for a show that I was only doing the professional commentary on is not the best day of my life. But what it did mean is I got to read a lot of Dr. Doug's stories before they became live on the show today. So I'm just going to talk quickly about new MiloBot malware variant, which sends extortion emails demanding $2,732 in Bitcoin. I'm not sure how many Satoshis that is, but I'm sure at some point 2,732 made sense to someone. But anyway, a new version of the MiloBot malware has been observed, and it's deploying malicious payloads that are being used, as said, to send, no giggling, extortion emails demanding victims to pay said price that I named. This was first detected in 2018 and is known to feature an array of sophisticated anti-debugging capabilities and propagation techniques to rope effective machines into a botnet. And not only that, it's like, the more you read of this, it's just sounding like an APT, but who knows? Maybe Russia is looking lots of Satoshis to help with said possible war in the Ukraine. But yeah, so it removes traces of competing malware APT like. And then it also is really good at evading. And the big thing is the way it invades is pretty good and pretty APT. Is after you're infected with it, it delays of up to 14 days. So pretty good, whoever's behind the back of this. So before assessing its command and control servers and the facility to execute malicious binaries directly from memory, MiloBot also leverages a technique, which I'm sure you're all read up on, called process hollowing. And that's where the attack code is injected into suspended and hollowed process in order to circumvent process-based defenses. And that's achieved by unmapping the memory allocated to the lab process and replacing it with arbitrary code. Something probably a lot of you did on your SANS 504 course, I would imagine. So then it moves on to the second stage, which creates a folder under C program data. And Minerva Labs researcher Natalie Zaragova said it looks for svc host.exe, probably something a lot of us done on penetration tests and stuff like that. So under the system directory, and it executes in suspended state. So using an APC injection technique, it injects itself into the spawned scv host.exe process. I'm not going to read all this. It's in the show notes if you want to, but this was my unfinally story today. And I love a ransom note. I absolutely love them, and I actually collect ransom notes. So I'm going to quickly read through this for you because they're always interesting. I know Michigan is one of your password on the day of hack. Let's get directly to the point. I should probably do this in a Russian accent, not saying it's Russia though. Not one person has paid me to check about you. You do not know me, and you're probably thinking why you're getting this email. In fact, I actually placed a malware on the adult vids, in brackets, adult porn, just to make sure, website. And you know what? You visited this site to experience fun. You know what I mean. When you were viewing videos, your browser started out operating as an RDP, having a keylogger, blah, 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 literally says, I pwned the hell out of you. And then goes, best solution would be to pay me $2,372. And apparently he refers to it as a donation. And in this situation, I will most certainly will, without delay, remove your video. So what is the video off? I hear you ask, what have they actually done? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But he goes on to say, nevertheless, if I do get paid, I will destroy the recording immediately. If you need proof, reply with yeah, then I will send out your video recording to 8 of your friends. It's non-negotiable offer, a great offer. Thus, please do not waste my time and yours by replying to this message. Okay, so if you want to protect yourself from this, go over to the show notes and read on. I actually know I used to work with a guy that this happened to, although it was a bit of a lower tech version. We'll call him Jimmy for now. And it involved a lady phoning him up on Skype and him being recorded, should we say, doing that thing that has possibly made the internet famous or has a large proportion of pages directed to it. And then the lady in question, should this actually have been a lady, said that I'm going to send it to all your Facebook friends. He came into work the next day, told us all about it. He kept his TS clearance, which he was very happy about. But as we say, if you do pay this, they're going to make you pay more than once. and you're going to have a really bad day. But yeah, cover up your cameras, guys, and put sticky tape. Back to you in the studio, my good friend, Dr. Doug, who hopefully will put a sticker on his laptop after this.
Well, I was really hoping you were going to do a Russian accent. I was wanting to hear what that was like. So
I don't. Dos Vidania. I got the sub. I can't do it. I got one. Sorry, I need to be drunk. I haven't got a Russian
It was
accent,
worth it. It was worth it. Kill moose and squirrel. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Aaron.
Doug.
Yeah, remember that. Cover up your cameras and probably don't drop your pants for cam girls because or cam guys or whatever whatever your persuasion may be. And we don't judge here, but just remember that your friends and family may get to see all that, and maybe you want them to. I don't know. It was kind of like somebody threatened me with that once, and I was like, really? Do I look good in it? I mean, if I do, maybe could I get a copy? But anyway. And finally, we all need a way to get out of meetings from the old callback trick, the, oh no, really? You pick up your phone and go, oh no, really? All over the room and the ceiling? And it's dripping in your mouth? Oh God, I've got to run, folks. So go on without me. Or, how about the old, I'm in the Lincoln tunnel and the signal, and I'm not, he's got my tongue in his, okay, yeah. Or just the old, no, kitty, don't eat that. Oh no, I think the power's about to, and then kill you. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Anyway, apparently the latest version of Teams prevented it from both sending and receiving calls. So brickware, trashware, nowhere. I don't know. I like nowhere, I think, is just what I'm going to call that. But anyway, apparently the bug was later fixed, but you can still claim that the patch hasn't been put on your machine. I'm supposed to be in a disciplinary hearing right at this very moment with the FCC, but and that's the news. Thanks, Aaron. Aaron, we'll see you on Friday doing the wrap-up show because he's such a great fellow. See you later.